So come along with me and we're going to make this block. Or maybe I can save you from some of the mistakes I made. Okay, friends, I've got my pieces cut according to the directions for the flowering block number 2. This was in our May 2025 Sew Sampler box. I'm ready to go. I have them labeled. I'm a starcher, so I did starch my fabric prior to trimming it out. Okay, let's get ready to stitch this together. I have my 1/4 inch seam guide foot. I have diagonal seam tape from Cluck Cluck Sew here on my machine in case I need to use it. Have everything nearby, I believe. There's always something I forget though. So let's get busy sewing. Got my instructions on my little book stand so I can see them readily, easily. First thing I'm going to do is to make 4 half square triangles from blocks A and F. So get those. I do have white on white fabric, so what I'm doing is making sure I've got the right side up. Sometimes it's hard to tell, and I'll hold it up to a light to make sure. Pieces A and F I am going to be using. At this point, I would mark with a fabric safe pen, or I can use my diagonal seam tape guide. That 1/4 inch seam guide gets in the way. You can't do a diagonal seam. All right. Trim these and press the seam. I'm just going to use my tailor scissors to eyeball trimming this. And I know that's a narrow seam, but I've never had any problems with it. So if it makes you nervous to have that narrow of a seam, then don't do it. You get to do your quilt your way. Now I'm going to press these open and put them on a clapper. Excuse me, I'm not going to press them open. I'm going to press to the dark side. Okay, while those are cooling down on the clapper, I'm going to move to the next step using pieces C and G. These are my G's. And I am using 2 different colors for my C's depending on where they're at in the pattern, and you'll see why in a little bit. I need to have a piece C for each end of my piece G's. So I need 8 C's. As I said, I'm using some different colors. So what I need to be careful of is to use those colors in the right spot. I am using this print at the bottom of G, and then I'm going to use my white on white at the top. You may also notice that a couple of my piece C's are pieced together. I've had 2 because I ran out of the fabric there at the end and I did not want to redo them, and this is a quilt for me and nobody's going to notice once it's done and quilted, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to draw my diagonal line on these because I want the accuracy that's there for this particular block. I think it's needed. If you've got some comments, ideas, questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below. I will respond to you as soon as possible. But I think it's fun to sew along with our internet besties, our internet friends. Now I'm pressing these, just pressing them to get my marker, fabric marker gone. and to set the seam. I will trim these down to a rough 1/4 inch seam. Rough meaning I'm not measuring it. Then I'll go back and press these. Instructions say press them to the light side. So I will do that. See how most of that piece that I seamed together is going to be gone? Once I press these, I'll put them on the clapper, let them cool. Y'all, I just made a oops. Looks like I did turn this one the wrong way. Gosh, I thought I'd checked all those. It's probably because I'm talking and sewing, and I can't do that at the same time, y'all. This one here, I'm not sure you can tell it, but I've got it, the white on whites facing up. So I'm going to see if I can fix this. Let me press this and see what I'm working with. I'm going to go ahead and press all of these and put them under the clapper. In the meantime, the half square triangles have cooled. So I'm going to bring those back over to the table and trim them down. Okay, so my half square triangles are looking good. Now I have my block or my piece CG. Now I'm going to add my piece C. And I'm doing a scant seam, probably a little more than a scant. So that's why you don't see me stitching right on my marked line. I'm going to the right of it. That's also why I am going slower than normal. Okay, I'm going to trim these, set the seam and press. My instructions are saying, where is it on these? Press to the light side, I believe. Yep. Usually it's the dark side or open. These instructions for this particular piece are saying the light side. These are big enough I'll be able to use in my chrome quilt, so that's good. This block, in my opinion, took a lot of fabric. I like it. It's pretty. Just took a lot of fabric. Now I can build my corners. For my corner, I need the 2 blocks that I've built. And then I also need my B block. And my B block, I did use this print instead of my background print because that's how I want it to turn out. put this in the corner. So let me look at my instructions. I have B as the corner, my half square triangle like this, and then my larger piece like this. Okay. So I'm just gonna do this and put them together. Okay, I have to sew B and the half square triangle together first, and then I'll sew that piece to this one. And I want this to be where my seam goes, so I've got to make sure I stay aware of that while I'm stitching. And I can change my foot now that I'm not making diagonal seams. I'm going to set my seam and press. For this one, I am going to press to the dark side. I actually pressed to the light side instead, changed my mind. Now I'm going to attach what I just stitched. Looking at my instructions, looking at the drawing they gave me. That looks good. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch seam and press. Probably going to press open. Okay, I'm going to set the seam and press open and put on my clappers, because this is a little bit of a bulky seam in spots. All right, I have these off of my clappers pressed, and I went ahead and trimmed them up to the size specified in the directions. They came out a lot better than I thought they would. I was a little concerned about some of the pieces being wonky, but they turned out really good. And if you'll notice those two pieces where I joined, that's all that's left of that piece I had to put together on that one. And it's even smaller on this one. It's just a little bitty piece right there. And I'm not finished yet, so there's going to be even less showing. Really don't think it's going to be noticeable at all. Getting ready to make my square in a square. I have my centerpiece, which is piece H. I have 4 of those because I've got to make 4 square in a squares. Now I'm going to mark the diagonal line for all of my pieces. Pieces C and H. There are 4 for each square, which means I've got to do 16 of these. So let's get started. The 2 upper corners have 1 fabric and the 2 lower corners have another fabric. So I need to be aware of that as I'm pinning these down or stitching them down. Also, I am using a white on white print for one of the fabric choices, and I need to make sure that I'm stitching those right side to right side because it's really hard to see which side's the right side if I'm not paying close attention. So I will double check that as I go along, and I'm going to get opposite sides pinned, opposite corners pinned, stitch those, and then trim, press, all that good stuff, and then the remaining corners. So let's get that done. Pin, pin, pin. I'm trying to be extra careful, making sure I've got the correct pieces in the correct place while I'm trimming these and trying to talk y'all. If you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up on the videos and subscribe to my channel. Feel welcome to comment and let me know what your thoughts are on today's video. If there's a problem area you're struggling with on this project or any other, let me know and I'll be glad to have a video, make a video on it. That felt kind of thick. Making sure my fabric wasn't balled up. That would have been a disaster. But anywho, we can learn together. If it's something I don't know how to do, I'll jump in and try and figure it out and we can make a video on it. But yeah, like and subscribe. Alright, I'm going to set my seam first, where that's just putting my iron on it for about 3 seconds. And then I'm going to press out to my light side and put my clappers on. Let me do that and I'll be right back. I've got my blocks pressed. They've cooled under the clappers. Now I'm going to add my opposite triangles. These are pretty stable and I didn't need to pin them, so just going to place them, run them under my presser foot, set the seam, press, and move to the next step. And again, I'm using a scant stitch, maybe a little more than a scant. All right, I'm going to trim these. Then I'm going to set my seam and press to the light side. Oops, missed that one. Okay, I'm going to set the seam and press these. Oh, no, I'm going to set the seam, press these to the light side, and then I'm going to put my clappers on them. So for the star, I take my pieces J and E. Need to put diagonal lines on my E. Then E is going to go at the top Alrighty, I made sure my white on white was turned right side down. And draw my diagonals. One, 2, 3, drum roll please. Number 4. Oops. So I've got my diagonals. I'm going to place them. They all 4 are sewn the same way. Sometimes when I have pieces like this, I'll cut it larger and trim down because for some reason they get wonky on me.
Stop!
Here's my pretty square and a square. My first trim is going to be that excess that I don't use. Now, this is the centerpiece, the star. To the left of each of these pieces, I need to sew piece D, seam guide foot. I don't have my screwdriver handy, so hopefully I won't have any issues. Okay, I'm going to set my seam and press these to the light, to my background. And if it looks too bulky, I will use my clappers. Okay, these all look really good. I've definitely got my 1/4 inch seam allowance looking good. My points there. So yay me. Okay, got those pieces. Now it's time to build the block. And y'all, this to me, this is a large block. Of course, it's 18 and a half by 18 and a half. And it's just got a lot of pieces. I'm not complaining. I like it. It's a beautiful pattern, but there's a lot of pieces to put together. And I'm constantly looking at the drawings or sketches, or whatever you want to call it in the pattern, to make sure I've got everything positioned the right way. And I like to use a design board. So let me see if I can bring that up here within the range. Maybe some of it. Get all that in the frame, but you get the idea. See? All righty. And I'm going to press this seam open because it is very bulky. And work on the top row. I am concerned about my square and the square 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to make sure, pay special attention to that. So I don't lose a point. And if I do lose a point, guess what? It's okay. No points were lost in the making of those seams. Yay me. I'm going to press, put it on the clapper. There's my press piece for my star. Go in and trim some of that seam out so it'll lay flatter. Okay, this is my block on my design board. Hi. Now I only need to sew the middle and top, the middle and bottom, and we'll be done. I have to match up my seams, but the way I pressed, I've got the seams they'll nest. I think I got this one upside down. Now, that looks better. Okay. So let's get those final pieces done. And I'm taking my time sewing. That will help you match up your seams better, and it'll help you it'll just help your overall block formation to look better. I did not lose any points, but some seams are kind of bulky, so I may go behind with some small scissors and snip some of that bulk out so it'll lay better. But I have between now and the time that I finish the quilt to do that. I might sit one night and do that to some of my blocks when I'm watching TV. I'm going to press these open. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Pinning on my last piece. Okay, I didn't lose any. Okay, I am done. I do have to trim around the edges, but I like what I see. I really like it. What do you think? I'm very happy with it. Can you see the detail of that pin dot? I don't think far away you can pick it up, but I like it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up on the video and please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of these. Give me some comments on what you'd like to see more of or some ideas you have or what you did on your block. I like the on point.